Good afternoon, traders. It is Tuesday, June 30th, 2015, and the U.S. stock market is closed. I tell you, I had an emotionally disturbing day today. It isn't because we had necessarily a bad day, because we really didn't have a bad day. But back in the day, when I started trading, I started out with $6,000 of borrowed money. I had no money to start out with at all. I went to a bank. I got a chattel mortgage on everything I owned, which wasn't much, for $6,000, and I started trading futures. And the first trade I ever took was in sugar. I bought 5 sugar contracts, which cost about $5,700. That's out of the $6,000 of borrowed money I had, and I just expected I couldn't go wrong. I had to make money. Well, what I learned the hard way was, in about 45 minutes, I had cut the value of my account in half, and I had to get out. And I got out. I had lost over $3,000 of my $6,000 of borrowed money. When I was done with that trade, I went in the bathroom and I puked. And there's a bitter lesson. I stuck with it and became a trader, believe it or not. But what's interesting is today I started getting that same feeling in my stomach, and I can't figure out why, really, because we didn't have a terrible day at all. But it was just the markets today were really wild, volatile. I saw my equity going all over the place, and maybe it was a delayed reaction to what happened yesterday, with the Dow dropping 350 points. I'm starting to think, hey, could the American economy really go into the toilet? Could the dollar really collapse? Could this be the end of the world? And I think, back in my unconscious, I had these feelings and thoughts, and maybe that was why I was getting that feeling in the pit of my stomach that I needed to go to the bathroom and discharge my stomach contents. Anyway, it was kind of a rough day today for me. What happened shouldn't have been that bad. We closed out $5,600 negative in negative closed out trades. You only had 2 positions. They were terrible. We closed them out. Yeah, we lost $5,600, but we are carrying positive over $7,000 going into tomorrow. So that kind of offsets. So technically that makes it a slightly winning day. I had called the Dow down for today. It didn't go, well, it was down for a while, but it ended up closing up 23 points. Now what happened to the Dow is possibly a reason for my stomach getting upset. You can see here the Dow opened up very strong, over 100 points. Then it goes down, gets down below my first red line there. Then it goes up again, gets pretty positive up here, and then it comes back and settles right on that red line, right on the red line, and up 23 points. Now, I'm going to tell you, when I see this zigzag pattern, this is called a sideways C. When I see this, it usually means it's a kind of a wind-up. It means something's going to happen. And what I think is going to happen here is the Dow is going to take off, upside. I'm going out on a long, thin limb right now. I'm calling the Dow up hard tomorrow. And hey, maybe this is wishful thinking, because we need the Dow to go up hard tomorrow. The Dow goes up hard tomorrow, it's going to get us out of a tough spot that we've been hanging in for the last several days. So I really hope this happens, but I also am seeing reason to believe it could happen. The fact that this thing did not settle down below the first red line, and it really never showed any significant weakness today. Makes me think, hey, in spite of all the bearish talk you're hearing, this is a bull market, and this Dow is going to go up, and I think it's going to go up tomorrow. I'll show you our trades. It was a strange cross-section of a lot of different things. Let's take a look. I'll show you the nightmare trade first. This is in Juno Therapeutics. This is a new stock. Oh, these new stocks are really have caused us our share of problems. We had this huge gap up this morning, and you know, I buy gaps. We got in, and then it kind of trailed off, but you know, if you look at this chart, this doesn't look like a sell-off. It just didn't go up and make new highs after the open, but it didn't fill the gap here. But nevertheless, we had a lot of positions. I'll explain that in just a second. And this Juno Therapeutics still closed up 15%. That's not a sell-off. That doesn't mean too much. The stock closed up 15%. But regardless, we ended up down over $5,000 on this thing. And one of the problems that we had, I looked at this chart. I was trying to figure out, well, what's going on? But I could see that the amount of shares that I had bought put me investing significantly more than I did with the other stocks I bought. That difference was about 50% more than I normally would have. And I studied that, and I even called TradeStation and talked to a guy there who probably thought I was a little bit nuts, but in the process of talking to him, I figured out what was going on. I determine the number of shares by price, and ideally we should be investing about the same amount for all our trades. The thing here was we had this huge gap, and I was determining the number of shares to buy by this price down here. Then it comes up here, and I'm buying that many shares at the price up here. And so I ended up, shall we say, over-invested in Juno Therapeutics this morning, and that was one of the reasons why this was such a severely negative trade. I was kind of over-invested in it. And of course I was thinking today, well, how could I correct that? And I could correct it very easily. I could make the number of shares determined by the open here. And that would certainly correct this situation. The problem is, and this is, you get into this whenever you're designing mechanical trading systems, is this would correct this kind of problem, but what happens when you buy the thing and it goes up? And that's the way I've been trading for 20 years. And the fact is, it goes up more than it goes down. Statistically, I've shown that. So I'm just going to swallow my pride here, and if I have to take a loss in Juno Therapeutics, I will. I'm not changing the system. But I just wanted to show you that. That's why we got such a bad trade in Juno Therapeutics over and above what happened with price, when it just didn't, kind of trailed off without coming up and taking off the highs. We'll see what happens tomorrow. But hey, this stock isn't dead. This stock closed up 15% today. I'll show you what offset this loss with Juno Therapeutics. was another stock, and that was Advaxis. By the way, all four of these things I'm showing you are health or drug stocks. Interesting, but those seem to be the stocks that are really moving recently. This is Advaxis, which is a drug stock, and we came in here, bought this right at the beginning of the day. Hey, it never looked back. It just never looked back. It kept going, 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 and we are holding as much positive in Advaxis as we are holding negative in Juno Therapeutics. So the two trades basically canceled each other out. I hate to use all these profits, over $5,000 in Advaxis, to offset a losing trade in another stock, but I'm taking some hope that this thing in Juno Therapeutics might improve tomorrow. We'll just have to see. We had some other good trades too. As I say, we are holding over $7,000 in open trade equity going into tomorrow. But oh, the volatility today, I mean, it just really was tough to watch. I started watching even the aftermarket, and the aftermarket was volatile. I had to stop. I'm not gonna I'm gonna get this video out of the way, post it. I'm not gonna think about markets until tomorrow morning. Anyway, this is our old friend Radius Health. Another great trade today. We got into this about, it looks like a second hour or so, and Radius Health just screamed after we got into it. After we got into it, we didn't have to try and jump in up here. We got into it ahead of this, and it just really piled on here. And we are holding, let's see, we are holding $3,500 in Radius Health, open trade. Beautiful trade, and as you know, we've just had nothing but good trades in this stock. Fantastic. I wish all our stocks could be this way. And finally, this is a smaller one, but it's another drug stock. Now let's see here. I'm trying to find what am I looking for? You excuse me, I had to mess around with some stuff and I'm having trouble. Here we go. This is TTPH, Tetraphase Pharmaceuticals, another drug company. We got into this fairly late. Looks like we're almost into the third hour there. But it kept going, it kept going, and it closed fairly close to its high. And we're holding $2,500 in Tetraphase Pharmaceuticals. So combine those three really good stocks, they definitely more than offset this bad one in Juno Therapeutics. So, as I say, we got over $7,000 tomorrow. If we can get this Dow to take off tomorrow, this could turn out into very, very profitable for us. We are holding 19 positions. We have a lot of positions on, and 10 of them are positive, 9 are negative, but only the Juno Therapeutics is really negative. So if we could see the overall market really take off tomorrow, we're going to go into big time positive territory. That's what I'm hoping for. Anyway, Bob the trader is going to kind of take the evening off, though. It was a tough day, wild day, crazy volatile markets, and I'm going to relax, but I'm going to be back online at 6:30 my time tomorrow morning.